Hello, good evening, everybody. Instead of calling you puckheads today, I think I'm going to have to call you something different because we're going to talk golf today. Nothing comes to the mind. Maybe I'll call you the grips or the shanks or something like that because, to be honest with you, the duffers, that's really what we all are. I am your buddy Choppadong. I am coming at you with a video talking golf today. I usually do the NHL stuff for DFS Army, and I will do MLB stuff in the spring. But I wanted to have a little bit of fun with you because we get a lot of questions and comments inside the PGA room. I am not the PGA expert. Let's just disclaim that right away. I know the game of golf. I don't know DFS golf all that well, but I will show you how I've been having success inside DFS Army, and it really comes down to about three things. Number one, reading the articles and content that we put out. Number two, obviously getting involved in Slack. Perhaps listening to Taco Tuesday's podcast that you see on the screen there. Those are the first couple of steps. The second, or the second step's learning the research station. The third step would be actually paying attention and a couple of strategies that I employ, and then knowing how to use the Domination station. So that's what I'm going to dive in and show you guys. Give you a quick little sample. If you're getting this in the email tomorrow, which will be Thursday morning, these guys are already teed off. This information is useless to you now, but tune in for next week. And definitely click on the website and go check out the pricing information. We unlock every single sport to you for $40 a month. You absolutely cannot go wrong. You get the optimizer. You get all of this content for every sport that we do. NBA's coming back. MMA's rolling. NASCAR is going now. Golf is every week. Baseball's coming. Basketball's coming to an end. Hockey's coming to an end. My God, we've got everything for you. I'm leaving stuff out like soccer and esports and whatever else. I'm leaving the stuff out. You've got to get involved, and you've got to unlock all of this stuff because you don't know where your edge is until you get in here and learn these games. Anyway, dive into the golf. The first thing that I do, honestly, is I read Brody's, excuse me, wow, sorry about that. I read Brody's article every week. And I walk through a couple of his plays, who he likes for cash, who he likes for GPPs, and I start thinking about what course we're playing. Now I know that from when I was a little bitty kid. Like I knew that this week we were switching from the Poa annua grass back to Bermuda greens, and the guys that have been having trouble putting on the West Coast, well, everybody has trouble putting out there, but the guys that have been having the most trouble sometimes grew up in Florida and love going back to Bermuda greens, and they really start, putting very well. Bermuda greens are goofy, man. They're very grainy, and the putt really travels on them, and it moves throughout the day. As the sun starts to set, the grass starts to bend a little bit, and it puts a little bit more break in it. So knowing those greens and growing up in Florida definitely will help these guys that are good on those greens. There are stats to track that show putting on Bermuda greens, and that would be a very, very good stat for you to get to know. Where is it? I don't know. I don't look that far. Like I said, I'm not the DFS golf guy. I just know it exists from my own personal golf days, and I know that putting on Bermuda greens is goofy. Not as goofy as Poa annua, but it's goofy. The podcast, Taco's going to break down all of that stuff for you too. Then he's going to talk a lot about the European guys that come over as they go back and forth across the pond, and that's a very, very good podcast to listen to when he breaks down stats. He's the one that puts together our research station, so he's the one that's going to tell you what stats to key in on. So again, very, very good content for you to listen to. When I open up the research station, what I'm going to show you is all of the names here. We have everything from the prices to the projected values to the ownership percentages that we think the odds to win, course history, recent form, long-term form, and then basic stats, and all of these stroke gained numbers that you need to pay attention to when it comes to the game of golf. So without further ado, let's dive in. Let me show you the things that I focus on the most, quite honestly, are very simple. And if you're a very beginning DFS golf player, you're not going to go wrong doing this in cash games, okay? I pay attention to course history and recent form. I want recent form really running hot. And I want course history looking pretty good. And I had trouble this week. I like to try to find, this is my strategy that I try to do. I like to take a couple of punts and lock them in, and then I'm going to show you how to play with the Domination station to get a mixture of the studs, because we don't know which stud's going to win, but we know that if we get a couple of the guys through the cut, and we get 4, 5, 6 of the guys through the cut each week, then we've got great chances. If we get all 6 through, we've got a great chance at a GPP, but we don't know which guys are going to win the tournament or which ones are going to place 10th or whatever. So I mix those studs up. We know they'll be at the top, and I'm going to mix them, let the Domination Station mix them up kind of randomly for me. I'm going to lock in a couple of value guys that should make the cut and give myself a couple of cut makers right off the bat, because these top guys should be making the cut week after week after week. Now you can see on this course a lot of these top guys are missing the cut, so this could be a very random week. But when I scroll down, like I said, I'm looking for recent form and I'm looking for the cuts. I see, like, I don't like Keegan Bradley. His recent form may be okay, but he's missed the last 3 cuts here. He might make the cut this week, but he's not too safe. Here's one that is safe. Good recent form on Charles Howell. 1 missed cut, and hasn't done too well the past few years, but he has made the cut. Okay? So he's one that is going to be fairly safe. Here's another one that might trip you up. You might think this guy's safe, except his recent form, Graham McDowell's, is not great. 1 good cut, 1 bad cut. So, I mean, this is just, here's a good course history, an okay recent form, so Ryan Palmer might be in play for me. Not somebody I'm going to lock in. But as I start scrolling down this list and look, you know, here's one. Sam Saunders has had okay course history in the 2 times that he's played here. That's a good sign. He's also got good recent form rolling his last 5 or 6 tournaments. He's a cheap guy at 8,400 on FanDuel. I'm locking his ass in. I'm not looking at these stats necessarily. I may go into those another time, but really and truly, when I'm just trying to find the value guys, I'm doing it. And then I'm going to rely on the projections that we have that are the absolute bomb inside DFS Army to fill out the rest of my rosters for me, okay? You can dig in a lot deeper to this stuff, and that's when you plug into Slack, and that's when you ask Brody and Taco, and the regulars in there are great. That's when you ask those guys, what do I do? What about this guy or this guy, or what does this stat mean or that stat? But for the very, very, very beginning guys, you don't need to necessarily do that. This is to help get you basically on the bike. The bike still has training wheels on it, but this is going to get you on the bike, upright, and moving. Your job is to dig deeper and take the training wheels off and then fly with the BMXers down the track, okay? That's your job. My job's just to get you up on the bike and then let go of you and let the training wheels do the work, okay? So I'm going to take a Sam Saunders and I'm going to lock him in. The other one that I had noticed was Kazire. And you know, you're sitting here looking at Kazire, and he's got okay recent form, he's got okay course history, and then when I looked over at the stats, some of his stats lined up pretty well. So when I go to Domination Station, I'm going to take 2 of those guys, and I might even lock in a third. The third would be Charles Howell, because or maybe like a Gary Woodland, somebody who typically makes cuts. These are guys that I'm going to lock in. I'm going to go Honda Classic. I'm going to do golf on FanDuel. Some of you guys are DK guys. That's fine. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to run with a couple of lineups and 1 unique player and click Optimize. I want to see who the optimizer is bringing to the front. Who does it like, and how do I feel about those guys? A lot of Ricky Fowler, a lot of Justin Thomas, a lot of Rory. There's Sam Saunders. There's Grillo. Campbell's probably going to be my value play. Tringale's probably going to be in there some. I don't necessarily like those guys. So what do? I start tweaking, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go lock my guys in. I told you I liked Saunders. So I'm going to type him in, and I'm going to lock him. Now, I'm going to type in Kazire. I'm going to lock him. And now I'm going to spread this thing out. I already know I'm going to see a lot of Ricky and a lot of Rory and a lot of, you know, maybe some Sergio or whatever, some Justin Thomas stuff. I know I'm going to see a lot of those guys. I'm going to start breaking those guys up. I'm going to lock these 2 guys in first. I'm going to open up my uniques down to, say, 2 players if I want a little tighter core, 4 players if I want a really, really wide core, 3 if I want something kind of in the middle. I'm going to bump this down to, say, 5 lineups, and I'm going to click Optimize, and now I'm going to start playing. So I see a lot of Ricky Fowler. I don't want Ricky in 4 of my 5 lineups. So the first guy I'm going to take on is Ricky. I'm going to cut him down. And I can cut him down in one of 2 ways here. I can either play with the face and bump his projections up or down, or I can play with his exposure. I'm running 5 lineups. I don't want to see him in 4 of them, so I'm going to cut it down to 75%. That's going to put him in 3. Another one that I don't want to see a lot of is Rory. Rory hasn't been playing that well lately. I don't trust the guy right now. A lot of people are going to be on him. I'm not. So I'm going to cut Rory out of there. I'm not cutting him completely out because Rory is Rory. I'm going to put him in, say, 1 of my lineups. So I'm going to lock, you know, if I put him at, say, 45%, he'd be in 2 of my lineups. If I put him at 30%, he's going to be in 1 of my lineups. I don't mind having him taking a shot on him. Okay. What was another one? Justin Thomas. Let's cut him down to say, 60% and max him at 3. 65%, max him at 3. Now when I come back down again and take a look, now I'm going to have to spin this again. But you notice Kazire's locked in. Well, they're not yet. I guess I didn't hit it again. So I'm going to let it run. Then we come down here. And now I see Ricky, Justin, Gary Woodland, Rory's in the 1, Sergio, Justin Thomas is in 2, 3. So if I want to cut Justin Thomas down a little bit more, I might cut him down to 2 lineups, which would be putting him at 50%. He'll be in 2, but not 3 lineups. If I wanted to bump Sergio up, let's say I liked Sergio, I'm going to take Sergio's projections and bump him. I'm still going to limit him to 3 of my 4 lineups or 3 of my 5 lineups, but I'm going to bump his projections just a little bit and bring him to the forefront. I also like Gary Woodland personally. I'm going to do the exact same thing to him. I'm going to bump him up, and now I'm going to limit him to 3 of my 5 lineups. Now I'm going to see what that mix just did. This is all it takes, just running and tweaking, okay? Now what you see is Saunders all over the place. You're going to see Kazire in all 5 as well. So Kazire. Okay, those are the guys I locked in. Now you got Ricky, Sergio, Justin, Sergio, Rory, Sergio, Justin, Tommy, Justin, Tyrell Hatton. Okay, or Ricky, Tyrell Hatton. I'm starting to get a mix. There's Gary Woodland in 1, 2. Let's say you liked Ollie, Schneiderhands or whatever his last name is. So I'm going to bring him to the top. Well, I misspelled it. My bad. And I'm going to take him and I'm going to just jack his lineup, his numbers through the roof. And I'm going to say cut him down to, what would that be? 3 lineups is 60%. So I'm going to keep him in just 3. I'm going to run it again. I'm really starting to jerk with these projections, but these projections are just projections. Now I've got, again, where's Ollie? There's Ollie in 1, 2. So Ollie's in 2 now. I've got Grillo in a couple. Now if I like this lineup, these lineups, these are the ones that I'm going to run. If I want to keep tweaking and keep playing, I can keep on doing that. Ricky, Justin. Let's say I wanted to take Justin out. Well, Gary's in 1, 2, 3. Sergio's in 1, 2. Rory's in just the 1, Ricky's in 3. I mean, that's really a pretty good mix for what I liked. Now I got a little Hatton in there, a little Knox. Let's say I wanted to bump Knox again. It's a GPP guy that a lot of people are favoring this week. Bump him up and cut him down to, say, just 2 lineups. But I want to get him maybe in that 2nd lineup. So I'm going to cap him with the exposure control, but I'm going to bump him to bring him to the top of some of these other guys. And then see, do I have Russell Knox in 2 lineups? There he is. He's in 2 lineups. Is Ollie still in 2 lineups? Nope, Ollie disappeared. So maybe I need to, if I really liked Ollie with Knox, maybe I need to play with that and get Ollie back in here. And in this case, I'll give him, say, 86 points. Because once I've got him jacked all the way to 15%, I can't jack his numbers anymore. Now I've got to play with the actual fantasy points. He's still only going to be in 3 lineups, max. Ollie, still only in the 2. Interesting. So, I mean, this is something I would spend another 30 minutes or an hour tweaking and playing until I got the mix. I wanted Ollie in 3. I want Ricky in 3. I want Sergio in 2. I want Gary in a couple. I want, Kazire in them all, Saunders in them all. There's a Campbell. There's a list. I've got Knox in a couple of them. Now, these are the players that I liked, that I did my research on, that I found, and that the Domination Station was pulling to the front, and I started controlling the shuffle. I started controlling what I wanted. Now I'm going to take now here's the thing though. When I run all Kazire and all Saunders, if they both miss the cut this week, I'm screwed. So I know that. I'm fine with that. But if they all make it, then all of my lineups are set up well. Because odds are Sergio and Gary and Ricky and Justin, and they're all going to be there. I have not as much faith in Rory personally, but he should be there. He's one of the best golfers in the world. So these 2 guys are going to be there. If Kazire and Saunders get there, then it really just comes down to how the other 2 play. And that sets me up well for cash games, and it allows me to have potential to win bigger leagues and GPPs. Okay, so that's just a brief rundown of how you diddle with the golf stuff. And then we'll talk more in another video sometime. I'll show you the hockey stuff, or I'll show you the baseball stuff when it gets rolling, or I'll show you basketball stuff or whatever. That's what we do inside the DFS Army. We teach you how to use our tools. We're there in the Slack chat rooms. We're talking hockey tonight, and we're in the Slack chat rooms constantly telling you, whether it's NBA or, baseball or football or PGA or whatever. PGA guys are always buzzing. We're going to show you how to tweak our tools and how to put together your own lineups for yourself. And then we're going to coach you on where to spend your money. Which contests should you pick? In fact, I'll throw a contest selection video/article in this article as well for you to read next, because I think it's that important. Bankroll management, also very important. We have a video on site. We've got an article on site. We preach to guys to back up your play, your GPP plays, with some cash games so that you can then capitalize on crossing those 50-50 lines when you fall short of the GPPs and slow the ups and downs of the crazy ride that is DFS. We have coaches in every sport. We have basically the tightest knit community you're ever going to find when it comes to daily fantasy sports, and we've got every sport covered. You can't beat it for $40, guys. Jump on in, stop wasting time. Come hit me up, chop a dong, and tell me hi, and let's see you on the inside when we see you guys. Take care.